Hi, I'm Katie, a psychic channeler. Through my psychic abilities, I'm able to channel spirit, collective consciousness, spirit guides, past loved ones, and more. Here's what's in store for us collectively for the month of June. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. If you want a personal reading where we dive deep into what's in store for you personally, my books are now open. This is a live channeling for predictions on the month of June. So you're going to hear pauses throughout the recording. That's just me channeling, speaking with my spirit guides, speaking with spirit, and just gathering information. We are going to uncover predictions for the month of June, energies that we're being asked to work with, things we're being asked to learn and embody, things to look forward to, and things that we maybe won't be looking forward to. I'm about to start channeling, and this is essentially what goes on in a reading. So if you've been curious, this is literally live. I'm not going to edit this too much. I've got my incense going, and I am cleansing my field with it, and I've got my ancestor candle going in the background as well as my protection candle going in the background. And I'm really curious to see what comes through about the month of June for us collectively. So I'm just going to take a second to tap in and see where Spirit wants to start with us today. Spirit, what do we need to know for the month of June? The first thing that's coming through, and it's so funny, you can't see, but I always use a blanket when I give readings. I always cover up. And I picked my childhood blankie today, and it's very ratty and beat up, but I love it. And it's just interesting. My team is saying, as well as Spirit, that it's interesting that I picked that blanket today of all days because there's a huge inner child theme for the month of June. And what Spirit is sharing is it makes sense because, summer, June, I think we're all going to be, kind of yearning and longing for that feeling of summer, that carefree feeling of summer. So overall, what they're showing me for the month of June, there is a lot of fun in store, and there is a lot of those feelings of a true summertime, like when we were young. Obviously, we're still going to have lessons to learn and responsibility and all those things that come with being a boring adult. But for the most part, there is this more fun air to the summer as a whole, but particularly this June, where they're literally, it's literally showing me like the ice cream truck, the popsicles, swimming, maybe even a water park or a vacation. And so the first piece of advice Spirit has for us is to really embrace that and to let go and to be a bit more carefree in the month of June because the energy's there. So why not try to work with it? There is, again, a big inner child theme for this. And the way it's showing up is by trying to have more fun. It is by trying to tap into what your inner child would be doing in the month of June. Obviously, it's a little bit impractical because we are adults that have bills and work, etc. But they're even talking about they've been seeing a theme of people wanting a summer reading list again, even though we're adults. And so it's just really, it's a fun energy to enjoy and to play around with. So why not try, and why not try to embrace it? In tandem with this more fun energy, we're being asked to tap into that because there is a little bit of a heavier undercurrent revolving around inner child work for the month of June. And this is going to catch some of us off guard. This is going to be a bit surprising, is what Spirit is saying to me right now. Spirit is saying that there's this a lot of us are going to have an inner child wound poked and prodded. But again, it's going to be a bit surprising. It's going to be stuff that seems like it might come out of left field, or I thought I worked through this, or I'm grown. Why am I still feeling like that? A lot of it feels very familial for most of us. So maybe something with parents, particularly relationships to parents, fathers, mothers. But I also see this interesting, oh, this is what they were trying to tell me in my dream last night. I understand now. There is also an element here of rejection. So, particularly with feeling rejected, when no one wants to sit with you at lunch in the cafeteria, or it's the first day at a new school, you don't know anyone, and you get picked last for dodgeball, all of those things. Those are going to be popping up quite a bit for the month of June. So the way to really counteract that and not get too swept up in the inner child of it all is to lean into the fun parts of being a kid again. So there needs to be a balancing here is what Spirit is showing me. And they don't want us to get too deep into the work for the month of June. Especially if you're in the spiritual world like myself, it is very easy to do. It's very easy to go, oh, well, my inner child's telling me this. Let me work through it. Let me do this. Let me do that. Obviously, there's a time and place, but the medicine for the month of June for the collective is to just try to have more fun and not be so serious about it all the time. So again, we have this dual energy here of the hard parts of growing up and the fun parts of growing up, where you have no responsibilities. You have that last day of school and it's fun and it's exciting and the whole summer's ahead of you and you make a fun little bucket list, and the only thing you have to do is maybe sit at the pool and read, or go on the family vacation, or play with your siblings, or play in the sprinklers. So if you find yourself in the month of June getting too swept up in healing and growing in the work, try to counteract that with just being more present and having more fun. I am also feeling, there's quite a few people listening to this. I feel a lot of celebration in store for you. So there's quite a few people in the collective that are going to have some sort of accomplishment. I don't know that you'll necessarily reach your main goal, what you've been super working towards, but you'll start to feel the first trickles of that success and from those opportunities. So it's this really kind of celebratory feeling in the month of June of like, oh wow, wait, this is actually starting to stick. This is actually starting to work. That feels very career and financially based. So if you are someone that's been very career driven, career focused, and you've been building a very strong foundation, you've been listening to the signs and to your intuition, there's a very strong indication here, especially at summer solstice, which I believe is the 22nd of June, I want to say. There's a huge indication here that you will start to reap the rewards of all of that hard work. I also am seeing some literal celebrations. Is it wedding season? I actually don't know what wedding season is. I'm seeing weddings, potential engagements maybe. I'm seeing, oh, that's kind of tea. I'm seeing some unplanned pregnancies. So y'all be careful unless that's what you want. I don't know. But it feels celebratory, so maybe you'll accidentally get pregnant, but it feels happy and it feels like a celebratory thing. Definitely look out for that. Some of y'all are going to have too much fun in the month of June. You're going to be taking the advice to have fun a little seriously. The advice for the most part for May was to continue to stay grounded because time is flying by. I'm sure I'm not the only person feeling that way. Especially May, I felt like I had so much time at the beginning of the month, and now all of a sudden it's June. And it's like, oh, where did that month go? That energy is going to continue. That's actually a collective theme for the entire year, and that's going to continue for June. So they are also bringing up, again, the advice to stay as grounded as possible through all of the movement. For most of us, there is still a lot of momentum. There is still a lot of forward motion and forward movement is what Spirit is showing me. But there are a few people, and this came up last month as well, that have been too hesitant and not making a move. And it's like, you know what you need to be doing, but you're not doing it. And then you're getting annoyed that there's no progress. So Spirit's being very, very honest with those of you that perhaps haven't been listening or making necessary moves. Maybe you've been fearful, maybe you're not sure where it would lead, maybe you want to control the situation. Doesn't matter what the story is. What matters is that you start to get going. There are quite a few people in the collective for 2026 that are going to, December's going to hit and they're going to say, I didn't do anything I wanted to do this year. Some people it's circumstantial, but for a lot of people, you're too fearful to start acting. And Spirit is really kind of snapping their fingers, and Spirit saying, if you want what you want, you have to go get it. So this really does apply to all of us, even those of us that feel like we have been acting and listening and taking action. That energy is going to continue of you can't be passive anymore. That is not possible for 2026. Is if you want something, you need to take some sort of action towards it and to make it happen. Even if the only action you feel you can take is just solidifying in your mind that that is what you want to do and that is what you want to do going forward, that counts. So you're getting a kick in the pants. We are all getting a little bit of a kick in the pants for June because Spirit is like, it's halfway through the year. And, again, some people circumstantially haven't been able to make a move. Some of us might be a little bit like, well, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I've been moving. That's fine too. But there is a large group of people that Spirit is very much like, you're sitting there waiting, and it's time to take a step in the right direction. They're using the analogy of like you're literally sitting by a swimming pool and you're like, man, I wish I could swim. I wish I could hop in that pool right now. It's like, what's stopping you from hopping in the pool? Well, I don't have my swimsuit. Well, I don't have this. Well, I don't have that. Well, no. Boop, 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 boop. Spirit's kind of tired of the story. So we all need to definitely try to remember to make some sort of move. And that's what's really fascinating to see as well is there is a lot of momentum in 2026, and I feel like it'll be at a peak for June and summer solstice, the midway point through the year. If you're a client, that's probably come up in your reading. And so Spirit is saying, why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that energy? You might feel like you're taking one step, but you look back and realize, oh, I actually took 10. Like, that's how much momentum there is. This has come up a lot in readings where Spirit is trying to really gently remind clients and me and everyone that there's just so much energy this year that has not been there for the past couple of years. Meaning, you might feel like, again, you're taking one step, but you're actually somehow taking 10 because there's so much momentum. So why not try to take advantage of that? Why not try to act? Again, I'm going to go back to, I see a lot of fear. I see a lot of people very fearful of, oh, the sun's coming out. That's so beautiful. I see a lot of fear around making a change, making a move. And it's really fascinating to see because what Spirit is showing me is it's like because you know deep down that you'll be successful at it. And you feel like maybe you can't handle that success or it'll change everything. Most of the time when people are scared to make a move, they're scared of failure. I see a lot of you, it's like, well, I know that I'll be really good at this. So there's a lot of self-worth stuff going on there too. So if that resonates with you, try to take advantage, take one step. Again, even if you're just solidifying in your mind that this is what you want to be doing and that is the way forward for you. There's Spirit saying a lot of things that I'm trying to make sense of. So hopefully I can be concise or clear. So I'm seeing the bulk of June, besides what they said about having fun, is going to be about balance. And they're bringing it up again for a reason. So what more would you like to pass along about this? Okay, so it's a lot of different things, which every time I do these horoscopes, every time I do these collective readings, because it's so different for everyone, right? And it's impossible to just do a blanket message, but for the most part, there's still a lot of impatience. That's what Spirit is showing me. There is still a lot of impatience about what you want and what you're working towards, what you've been calling in, whether it's love or career-based, maybe you want a family. Whatever it is that you've been seeking, you are still being called to patience. This is also pretty big collective theme for 2026 is there's a lot of momentum, but we still are being asked to have patience in regard to Spirit's timeline for us. So we are all being asked to really step into this idea of divine timing. And it's a lot of ebb and flow. I'm seeing this a lot with clients. I see it a lot with myself, where sometimes I feel very in surrender and I feel very balanced and I feel, very in tune with, okay, whenever Spirit wants to deliver it, it'll be here. But then sometimes I feel quite impatient and I go, well, why not today? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So the advice that Spirit has is to ground, like they keep talking about. It's time to get into our grounding practices, whether it's meditation, being outside, but also that piece that they talked about initially about having fun. So they don't want us to get too swept up in like when, how, is it going to happen? How can I make it happen faster? They want us to really lean into all of the beautiful stuff about being a human, where when we mail a letter to someone, we put it in the mailbox or drop it off somewhere, and then we trust that the postal service is going to deliver it. We're not following the post person over to every single stop, making sure they deliver it to the person. We trust that it will get there. That's what we're being asked to continue to lean into. And the way to do that is to lean into being a human, having fun, having a fun summer, connecting with our childlike ambitions, our childlike hobbies, the things that we enjoyed, because it connects us back to present and the present moment, and it reminds us what life is all about. So that's a big, big reminder for June is what is life all about? And this has come up throughout the past couple of months as well, where we are being asked to sit there and go, okay, it's not all about work. It's not all about what I want and what I want for myself and what I want to make happen for me. Sometimes it is about chasing down the ice cream truck. Sometimes it is about swimming and having a beautiful meal. Sometimes it's about the family vacation. Sometimes it's just about slowing down. So if we can try to remember that it's okay to slow down and enjoy being a human and trust that what we desire is on its way, then we will be having a really good June. But if you feel too much, you're trying to control everything, you're having tunnel vision, you're trying to force something to happen, you're doing X, Y, and Z, maybe it's a spell, maybe you're constantly obsessively reading your own tarot cards, you're really almost suffocating what you want, and it's just gonna make the ride to get there less enjoyable and more stressful for yourself. So if you find yourself doing that, try your best to pull back, ground, stay present, and have fun. I'm making a mental note of this for myself. I also see a lot of rerouting in the month of June that's going to carry through the rest of the year. I'm having a little trouble kind of pinpointing what this looks like exactly, because I think it's different areas for different people. So, some of us, going back to what they just talked about, trying to control, you're having too much tunnel vision. And you are so dead set on this is the way to get this thing that you're A, not enjoying life to its fullest extent, but B, you're not seeing what your guides are trying to tell you about a different way forward. So again, it's like that tunnel vision where this is what I want, this is the only way to get it, and I feel miserable and horrible the entire time. The advice is the same. Let loose, have some fun, reconnect with yourself, your inner child, whatever that looks like for you, in order to ground into presence. Because there are a lot of you listening to this right now. I can see you're missing a very obvious change that needs to be made. So when Spirit is saying to reroute, they are desperately trying to get you to turn to the right or turn to the left or turn back, and you're missing it and you're ignoring it because of that tunnel vision. Maybe it's because of fear. Maybe you know what needs to be done and you know the change that needs to be made, and you're too scared, you're too this, you're too that. Doesn't matter the reason. Again, the story doesn't matter. What matters is you need to slow down enough and connect with what it means to be a human enough to see what they're trying to tell you. So there is an element here of intuition, connecting with your own intuition. Your guides, some of you are like, your guides are literally screaming at you. It's very overwhelming. Being like, please just listen. Like if you like stopped for 2 seconds and took your foot off that brake and you just paused and really heard what they're telling you, you would have either what you want or even better. It's like you're ignoring something so blatantly. A lot of you are trying to make an old situation work for you in your current present circumstances, and it's not working anymore and it needs to change. So there is an element of change here, especially around summer solstice for a lot of us. I see that pretty prominently across all areas of life, but especially love. A lot of you are ignoring with the writing on the wall when it comes to your love life. So let's dive into what love looks like for June. This is typically what most people want to know. So for a lot of you that are in relationship, not just relationship, you're ignoring the writing on the wall. And that's the biggest lesson for June 2026 is this. So for example, some of you should have broken up a long time ago. Sorry. That's probably too honest, but I'm always honest and Spirit's always very honest. Some of y'all should have broken up a while ago. But quite a few of you have a situationship or an ex that you should have let go of a long time ago. And Spirit is saying that without judgment and without shame. Your guides and Spirit will never judge you. But as I said previously in this channeling session, Spirit's giving a lot of us a kick in the pants where it's like, it's June. 2026 is halfway over. Like, let's get things going. Let's make a change. So for quite a few of you, I can see very clearly you had every intention of healing from an ex or breaking up with someone or saying bye to the situationship, healing, growing, evolving, moving on, and you haven't. And you just haven't been able to call it quits. And that's okay. Again, no judgment. I think every person on planet Earth, for the most part, has been there. But it is time, is what Spirit is saying. It's time to move on. It's time to let it go. It's holding you back. The writing's on the wall, and you're ignoring it. So how can we move through this, Spirit? How can they... I'm sorry, it's so funny when they're like... When Spirit gives that kind of kick in the pants, it always makes me laugh because I'm like, no, we don't want to hear it. It's just time to act. That's the advice. That's the advice that they mentioned previously as well, and this is how it's affecting certain love lives collectively. It's just time to act. Have the hard conversation, end the relationship, end the situationship, move on. Do the healing work, figure it out, move on. And I just see there is a lot of us that are quite, Spirit's like very, like I said, very adamant about being stern with us today. There are a lot of you listening that like the only thing stopping you is yourself. And they're talking a lot about stories. They keep bringing that up where you can tell yourself the story all you want to about, well, you know, we're twin flames, we're soulmates, we're this, that, the other thing, we have a past life together, they're going through a hard time, and that's why they're treating me poorly, this, that, the other thing, and it's time to move on. It is time to act. It is time to choose differently. This applies to every area of life, not just love. For example, like they said previously, you want what you want, so go get it. You don't stare at the swimming pool going, man, I wish I could go for a swim. Dive in the swimming pool. Figure it out. Take the first step. You know, And Spirit's being very, very, very stern about this. So it might mean rerouting your life. It might mean leaving something behind, but it is incredibly necessary for especially these situations in love. They're showing me it's really holding you back. It really is. It was fun for a while. You ran back into the fire. It's time to call it quits and move on, okay? Now, for those of you in relationship where you don't feel like, you feel happy, you feel in love, things are going really well, what does Spirit have to pass along for you? Okay, there's still a little bit of a vibe shift with these relationships collectively. So allowing the relationship to evolve is going to be a big lesson for June. Okay, so there's a lot of fear here about kind of moving to that next level. Are some of you commitment phobic? Are some of you... Oh, wow, this is a lot of messages. Some of you are really deconstructing what commitment looks like for you. Some of you are maybe scared of marriage or taking things to that next level, or and it's just a lot of fear. A couple of different things. For some of you, it is about getting hurt again, normal. For some of you, it is about oh my God, sorry. Spirit is saying they're like downloading a waterfall of information to me about this. Some of you, it's fear of getting hurt again. Some of you, it's like really old stuff coming up that you thought you worked through. And a lot of you are deconstructing. So a lot of you are being asked to kind of move up to that next level within your relationship. So maybe that's committing to someone, engagement, getting married. Maybe it's having a child. Maybe it's just going steady. Maybe it's just the vibe feels a lot more serious between you and another person. But there's a lot of fear around it for some of you, but it's not because things aren't great. It's like your own stuff. And so Spirit is asking you to just be very gently aware of that. Where do you want your old stuff and your baggage to be holding you back? Do you still want that to be holding you back from this new level of connection with someone? So something very important to reflect on. Because a lot of you are with your soulmates. And I don't feel like you're going to screw things up. And I don't feel like, I think you'll be fine regardless. But just being very gently aware of, am I holding myself back in any way within this connection? Even if you've been married for a while, a couple years, 10 years, 50, and you're listening to this, relationships are still meant to grow and evolve and change. Is there any way that you are still kind of holding yourself back from this next evolution and iteration of your relationship? And maybe the answer is no. Maybe you're like, no, we're all good. That's great. Still having that gentle awareness of like, oh, wow, like things are evolving and growing and prospering. And it's a really beautiful thing. I do see most of you are good. Some of you are probably going to have a breakup. In June, I picked up on that last month. Last month, Spirit wanted to talk to me a lot about June. And I'm like, can we back up? And I do see quite a few breakups, a lot of hurt, a lot of heartbreak, unfortunately. I wish I could give more specifics than that, but I don't want to fearmonger. But some of you are going to be like, yeah, writing's on the wall. Some of you are going to be like, didn't see that coming. Most of you, the writing's on the wall, though. I'll be honest with you. Let's talk about my single friends. If you are single, what does Spirit have to share? All the advice that they've shared previously about having fun, having a fun summer, is going to apply to your love life as well. So whether you are looking for love or you just are like, whatever, I don't care, you're in for a very fun summer for the most part. There's quite a few people that have really put in the work. They've like healed from past stuff. They've let go. They're having fun. They're living their lives. They're not getting tunnel vision about romance. Y'all are in for a very fun summer. I'm just going to put it that way. It's giving hot girl summer. Do people still say that? If you feel like you've been putting in the work, you've done a lot of self-love, you've done a lot of work on yourself, you've, put yourself first, you're not really centering romance in your life because that's what Spirit is asking of you, you're in for a hot girl summer. It's gonna be spicy. Now, for those of you that maybe do feel a lot of tunnel vision, where you're like, where are they? How can I make them come faster? All of those questions that we all ask at one point or another. You need to maybe like calm down a little, love you. Maybe just like pump the brakes a little bit. Try to be present. Everything that they said previously about tunnel vision, everything that they said previously about like suffocating what you want. It's time to pull back, slow down, ground, stay present exactly where you are. This doesn't mean you can't want what you want. This doesn't mean you can't look forward to this beautiful love and this beautiful connection that you're searching for. It doesn't mean you can't want it. Of course you can. I'm a lover girl at heart. I'm a romantic at heart. And I believe that everyone has a soulmate. But Spirit is saying, for some of you, you're getting a little too focused on the logistics of it all and not enough on living your life. It's like preventing you from living your life, and that's the opposite of what Spirit wants for you. Remember, the collective theme and lesson for June is to live your life and be present and have fun. So regardless of its romance, its career, it's working on yourself, it's healing, it's family, anything that is taking you away from that presence and that feeling of having a fun time in June like you would if you were a child, that is a red flag, and it's time to rebalance the scales. So whatever it looks like, maybe you're working too much, maybe you're too focused on dating, maybe you're too focused on healing and growing and evolving, it is time to just slow it down and do things that remind us what being a human is all about. Is there anything else we need to know for June 2026 before I close out the channeling session? Oh, ancestor work. Okay, duh. There's nothing more, in my opinion, beautiful than when you are trying to connect with your inner child than doing some ancestor work, because for those of us that are lucky, being a child meant going to grandma's house or great grandma's house or aunt, uncle, whoever, maybe those that are no longer with us. So doing some ancestor work in June always, but this June will help a lot. Maybe even asking, I just feel this sense of family, inner child. It's a very strong energetic for the month of June. So anything that has to do with ancestors or family, those living and those past, any work you want to do around that is going to be really wonderful. So offerings for your ancestors, praying to them, looking at their photos, spending time with family, all of that beautiful stuff. And family can look however it looks for you. It doesn't necessarily mean your nuclear family. So, they just want everyone to like chill out. Spirit's like essentially saying they just want everyone to just chill out and have some more fun, and do so by having that inner child play come out. And remember like what summer's all about. Remember what life is all about. And that's going to help you actually get farther with what you're manifesting and what your goals are than sitting there like, journaling and manifesting and doing the spells in a locked room. Get out there, live your life, enjoy it, because there is probably going to be a little bit more intense energy, probably in the fall and winter, a little bit more intense. So it's important now to have connection to yourself, those around you, to spirit, and to what it means to be a human. So thank you for watching. Thank you again for watching. I'm Katie, a psychic channeler, and my readings help you find clarity, validation, and a clear next step forward. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, my books are now open for the month of July. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Katie Surbeck. You can find me on Substack, etc. I feel like I'm pretty much everywhere these days. If you enjoyed this live channeling, please let me know. I absolutely love to hear from people. Let me know how it resonates with you as the month goes on, and I will see you on July 1st for a look ahead at July.